Hi, and welcome to What the Flick. It's a really big day because we're going to talk about Captain America. He's a guy in a suit with a with a trash can lid for a shield. Please explain it to us. Ben Mankiewicz. Oh, he's back, by the way. You guys were all asking, where's Ben, where's Ben? I don't know.
We found him.
You were gallivanting on the East Coast?
I was in Washington, D.C., and I was in Atlanta back after 18 days. It's good to be home in Los Angeles.
Good to be home. That's Matt Atchity, by the way.
I don't know. Matt knows a lot about the comic book films. I don't.
Okay.
We've started this concept, which is a sign of really, I don't know. It's not quality film criticism when one of us just doesn't see the movie.
But it's fun.
So I haven't seen Captain America.
Right, but this is the answer to the people that say, you don't like comic book movies? Don't go see it.
Right, exactly.
Ben
okay.
but I will see it.
Yes.
But today, I have not seen it. Okay. So it's about Captain America. And his real name, I only know this because it is the same name as former late 70s and early 80s Montreal Expos pitching great Steve Rogers.
Yes. Coincidence?
So, yeah.
You never see him in the same place at the same time.
Steve Rogers was a pretty solid starting pitcher for a while.
He actually played in the 40s and then was frozen.
Well, now you've given me information I didn't have. So Steve Rogers is apparently, something happens to him in the 1940s, and he is, I believe this part is, he's unable to he's unable to fight in the war. Mm-hmm. And so instead he becomes a superhero.
Good enough. Take it away.
Is that basically right?
Yeah.
Just give me a chance. Sorry, son. I'm saving your life.
General Patton has said that wars are fought with weapons, but they are won by men.
You just don't know when to give up, do you? I could do this all day.
Our goal is to create the greatest army in history.
I should be going with you. Look, I know you don't think I can do this.
This isn't a back alley, Steve. It's war.
But every army begins with one man.
5 tries in 5 different cities. I can offer you a chance.
He will be the first in a new breed of super soldiers.
Why me? Because the weak men knows the value of strength, knows the value of power.
That wasn't so bad.
That was penicillin.
We are going to win this war because we have the best men.
Now, Mr. Stark.
Nay, will personally escort Adolf Hitler to the gates of hell.
How do you feel?
It's all right.
Your task won't be simple.
Who the hell are you? The first of many.
Your enemy is not what you expect.
I don't know if I can do this.
This is why you've been chosen.
What do you think?
Yeah, so Ben's pretty close because, yes, there is Tommy Lee Jones, but there's also Dominic Cooper.
Oh.
And Toby Jones.
Right, and Toby Jones.
Oh, we love
And Hugo Weaving.
Love Toby
And
Jones.
Haley Atwell with perfect lipstick.
Right, and Stanley
Perfect.
Tucci.
They're all in it. So do we like this?
We like this. We like it a
Yes.
lot. I thought it was great. This is a really good movie. I've got a couple minor quibbles with it. You know, that it drags in the second act a little bit. You don't need 3 montages. I thought they got a little crazy with the montages.
Even Rocky had a montage.
Yeah,
Come
the third montage.
One or two would be okay, but by the time you get into the third one, it's like, can we at least see something happen? Like that's not just a montage. But I like this movie. You know, it's
What were
directed
the
by.
montages of? Did it go
So the first montage.
history?
So the story is about Steve Rogers, who wants to go off and do his part in World War II, and he doesn't want to just sit home and work at the factory.
I knew it.
You're very close, yeah.
You were very close. He wants to go off and do his part, but this guy is the poster boy for being 4F. He's 98 pounds, he's got asthma, he's got arthritis. There's this whole laundry list of things that are wrong with him. So they keep rejecting him. He keeps trying to get in, under different names, and they keep rejecting him. And so the scientist hears about this and wants him as part of this experimental super soldier program. He's the one that gets picked, and there's a training montage that they send all these soldiers through to see who's got the guts, who's got, you know, the right stuff to actually go through this experimental procedure.
Good expression.
The right stuff.
The right stuff.
Somebody should use that in a movie. That could be about astronauts.
Okay.
Anyway, so he gets picked, but that's the first montage. So he gets picked. He becomes this monstrous, buff, not quite hulked out, but
doesn't quite get promoted to major, but
right.
still.
But he's a captain.
He's been to the gym.
He's a big dude.
Yeah.
You know, Chris Evans put on 15 pounds for this. They say he's really, you know, he's Rocky size.
And they do that creepy thing where they take a scrawny body and put Chris Evans' head on it.
Well, actually, what they had done was actually digitally made him scrawny. It wasn't just somebody else's.
No,
scrawny
actually,
body.
it was me.
But no, but it's
my
seamless.
debut.
It's seamless, but it's kind of creepy.
It was kind of creepy. But I thought it worked really well.
Yeah.
You know, so then he becomes Captain America, and the first thing that happens is that he ends up like part of this USO buy war bonds kind of thing. That's your other montage, your
Of
musical
him performing
montage.
with the USO dancers and all
right.
that. Mm-hmm.
And then he finally, you know, gets some combat time and puts his own team together, and then you get another montage of them after HYDRA. The big conflict here is that he's trying to take down the Nazi scientist arm called HYDRA, established from the comics. You know, it's all set in the 40s. Hugo Weaving plays the Red Skull.
Before you tell me, before you get into it, I want to play a small game again from somebody who didn't see it, because there are 3 actors in this movie that I really love, and I want to guess what kind of characters they play.
Okay.
All right. So Toby Jones, Stanley Tucci, Neil McDonough, those are all 3 actors who I have great affinity for. Neil McDonough is evil.
No.
Oh, come on.
He's good, but he's edgy, scrappy, kind of cocky, and
Right.
fun party boy.
So they don't even, now, for those people who know the comic, Neil McDonough plays a character called Dum Dum Dugan, who was this part of this little group of commandos. He's got this giant mustache, and he gets
He's
all
fun.
of like 6 lines.
I like him.
But he's like, he leaps off the screen.
Right.
It's fun. Okay, so who's next?
Stanley Tucci is a sort of a irritating government bureaucrat.
No, he's the wacky
true.
scientist
He's-
who picks Chris Evans to be the subject
So
of
we
the
like him
experiment.
too.
We
Oh,
like
he's a
him
good
too.
guy too, yeah.
All right, and I see, and now I'm going to be wrong about Toby Jones, because I would have thought Toby Jones played like his buddy.
No, he's the bad guy who is Hugo Weaving's scientist sidekick.
Plays
who helps-
Arnim Zola,
helps make the weapons.
who ends
Continue.
up being one of the craziest villains ever in the history of.
Yeah.
0 for 3.
Yeah.
0 for 3.
But that's why the
Solid.
game is fun.
Whiffed
Right.
every time.
So no, but it looks great. Like it looks very weighty and substantial.
What
and
you
it's-
could see of it,
yeah.
I have to
saw it
point
in
out
3D.
that, the 3D that
My
I
3D
saw,
was not bad.
the 3D I saw, it was as if somebody turned the dimmer switch down.
I
It
hate
was-
that so much. It didn't need to be in 3D, of course,
Yeah.
but mine didn't look bad. I saw it on the Paramount lot. It didn't look bad.
No,
there.
I saw it at the Grove.
Oh,
Terrible.
It looked bad there. But
So
like,
don't see it in 3D.
That's a bummer because like the production design is totally there
Right.
in terms of the costumes and the lighting and just this beautiful kind of like Art Deco sepia toned look about it.
Right.
It's gorgeous. It's kind of old fashioned and dull,
it's an
which
old
I
school-
like about it. Which is not glossy and flippant.
You know, it's
not
kind of
fun-
an old
yeah.
rock'em sock'em
Yeah.
war movie. You know,
like
there's
that,
no
though.
subtext here, not like you get in the X-Men where it's this about racism or homosexuality, kind of the way it's been done in the
Yeah.
movies in the past. This is just, you know, a guy
He's
wants to go to
brave.
war, gets what he needs, and kicks some ass. And it's great.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
I like Haley Atwell in this a lot because she's not like a damsel in distress waiting to be saved. I mean,
Right.
she's this British agent who is kind of his equal in a lot of ways in terms of her
Right.
skill, her intelligence.
Joe Johnston directed this. It sounds
Yes.
like it's his best effort,
Yeah.
you would think.
It's really solid. Yeah. You know, it's got elements that you saw probably in The Rocketeer, but this is what The Rocketeer should have been.
Right.
You know, and The Rocketeer I think is an okay movie, but this is what The Rocketeer should have been. It's a really
That's like 20 years ago, too.
right,
Yeah.
right.
I
So
didn't
I
love
guess
it.
he's learned something.
Yeah, and I didn't love it as well as you do. I like the look of it. I like it more when it's about this scrawny, scrappy underdog trying to prove himself, and then it becomes kind of generic exploding tanks. And
it does.
It gets boring. It gets flat and it gets kind of generic.
I could see that, although I have to say, I found the ending, and I don't want to give away what happens, although people who know the story of Captain America kind of will kind of know how it's going to end to get him into modern times. I found the ending of the movie much more moving than I would have thought.
Okay.
I really was somewhat
There's sequels
surprised.
coming, obviously, right?
There's
Well,
the
yeah, the next one will be the
Avengers coming.
Avengers. This is to introduce how he gets into the Avengers.
Right, so that's
Whatever
like
you say.
Tony Stark and Thor and
They'll all be together.
Nick Fury.
Right.
I also have
Paltrow.
to point out Tommy Lee Jones. right? Because what else could be said about him?
Right.
Here's a guy who takes what was probably, I guess what I'm trying to say is that Tommy Lee Jones can take what's written on the page and add so much more without saying anything extra, just in inflection and in movement and in looks on his face.
You liked him too, Christy?
Well, I mean, he's the same guy that we love, where he's like bemused and condescending and very withering. Like, I like that guy, but he can do that in his sleep.
Right.
It's
Well,
still
right,
fun
but
to
it's still
watch.
great.
It's still fun
It's
to
still
watch.
And it
great.
adds something that if you didn't
Right.
have a guy of that stature in this role, it would diminish the movie.
Yes.
And you don't have a whole lot of humor without it. It's a very serious kind of old-fashioned,
Right.
Does Derek
earnest
Luke
movie.
Does Derek Luke play his black friend? Did I get that?
No, it's Jaden Smith.
I'm
No,
not.
there is no black friend. There are no.
Yes,
black
there
people.
is. Yes, there is. It was one of the
there's
soldiers.
One guy.
One of the
there's one guy,
soldiers.
and there's one
That was
Asian
Derek
guy.
Luke, and one Asian guy. Yeah.
Right. So
I mean, it's
he-
world.
He
Right?
was a friend, sort of. Kind
Sort of, yes.
Okay. Yes.
All right.
All right.
So
Ratings.
6.5.
I give this an 8.5.
Okay.
Really? Well, at least I can tell you that comes to 7.5.
Yes.
That sounds to me like a pretty solid recommendation. I'm going to go see Captain America. You should too.